cracking, everybody? It's your girl, Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, coming to you live from Nairobi, Kenya. It's Tuesday, so you already know it's NIKKI BANZ Live! We do this every single Tuesday, party people. Yo girl, NIKKI BANZ is bringing you the most incredible, the most amazing actors, artists, entertainers, entrepreneurs, and activists across the globe. And tonight, I have an international model coming to all of you here on the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see we got Melanie in the building. We got Carrie in the building. Thank you, Carrie. My earrings straight from the Maasai market here in Kenya. You know, I had to do it big. Actually, the shirt I'm rocking for the show today is also a shirt from an amazing brand called Endo Squared, based out of Nairobi. Two amazing melanated women who do this brand. We got a nice sexy print on the back. So I'm gonna have to show y'all a little behind the scenes. I'll show y'all the back of the shirt after the show, because you know I got the perfect spotting right now. Shout out to everybody who is here on the live today. I see we got Danielle. Welcome, Danielle. Welcome, mom and dad. Welcome everybody who is who's tuning in. I am so excited to have you all here. You know I do this every Tuesday, 8 p.m. in Cape Town, South Africa. It's 9 p.m. here in Nairobi in Kenya. It's 1 p.m. on the East Coast of the U.S., 10 a.m. on the West Coast of the U.S. I'm telling you, somebody was literally messaging me earlier today being like, Nicole, I can't keep up with the time zones. I was like, honestly, my guy, I can't keep up with the time zones either. But so far, my first attempt of hosting NIKKI BANZ Live internationally outside of South Africa has gone really well. So who knows? Who knows? Next week, maybe I'll be in Zanzibar. Maybe the week after that, I'll be in Nicosia in Cyprus. Maybe I'll come to y'all live from Los Angeles, California. We'll be really Hollywood with it. Who knows, everybody? Who knows? Well, just have to say thank you for being here. NIKKI BANZ Live is an interview series where I'm bringing you dynamic conversations with some of the most interesting people in the world. I do this because I want us to be able to have different perspectives from different people in all sorts of different countries, whether it's Namibia or Saudi Arabia or Lebanon or Palestine or the United States or Sudan or even here in Kenya. I want all of us to be able to see different perspectives, understand different people's lived experiences, and come together in community with some of the most dynamic movers and shakers that I know. And our guest tonight is none other than international model and activist Sanele Xaba, and I am so stoked to have the boy on the show today. I'm telling you right now, Sanele is doing amazing things all over the world, gracing catwalks and runways, on the cover of billboards, in every single ad you'll ever pick up in South Africa, in every magazine. He is doing all the things, and I am really, really excited to have him on the show here today. I see that he has just entered the building, so I'm going to bring him on in just a moment. But once again, this is NIKKI BANZ Live. Thank you all for being here. We live from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm telling you, tonight's episode is gonna stun just like every other episode. As a reminder, you can watch all the reruns of everybody who I've interviewed ever on my IGTV. You can also watch them all on YouTube. I know sometimes it's hard to like keep Instagram open and watch the rerun of a live. Just check it out on the YouTube. Ooh, I see we got Filipina pilot Cheska in the building. She was a guest on the show. Welcome, Cheska. Happy to have you here. I said we got Yvonne in the building. Shout out Yvonne. I'm wearing a little Endo Square t-shirt. Welcome, everyone. All right. I think y'all have officially heard enough of me talking. And you're ready to hear from my special guest. So, I'm going to bring him on, the man of the hour. It's so funny because me and him are always hanging out in Cape Town, but I'm not in Cape Town today when I'm interviewing him. It's all good. All right, we're going to bring on Sanele Xaba. Now is the time. My computer is far away, so I can't give y'all a drum roll like I normally do, but y'all can just give me some like jazz fingers at the screen, a little drum roll. As I bring him on, time to shine. Hey! What's up?
Hey, what an intro.
Oh, you already know. You already know. I gotta do it big for my special guests coming on the show. Hey, Sanele!
Hey, NIKKI BANZ, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a minute.
I know. It's been too long. But you've been jet setting. You weren't even in Cape Town for a while.
I wasn't. I actually just got back in December. I just got back in December, yeah. Yeah, it was getting a bit too difficult in Europe. Things were shutting down, and I decided, okay, looks like things are rosy back at home, so it's time for me to change my ticket and just go back home.
And
Hmm.
also, like, you can't leave Cape Town in December. Like, you have to
You
be here.
cannot. I was having slight FOMO because I was planning on having a white Christmas and just, being very wholesome and living my best life, getting like the ugly sweater and having hot cocoa and eggnog, just, experiencing something different. But when they started implementing those lockdown rules again, I was like, I'm out. I'll see y'all next
Oh
year.
my God.
Hmm.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to talk all about your travels. We're going to talk about your amazing career. We're going to talk about your activism, all the things. But I always like to start off each episode of NIKKI BANZ Live by just telling people how I know the guests who are on my show. And I have to
Uh-huh.
say, you and me, Sanele, we know each other from the streets.
It was the funniest thing. I remember my friend Colisa, when I was still away in Europe, we used to host like model parties at Gold Bar, and he just had a whole new crew when I got back, and he's just like, oh, I met these amazing people whilst you were gone, and you'll love them, you'll totally love them, totally like you're the type of people. I'm like, because I'm just a very close off person, so I'm like, damn, who are these people? And I literally met, and then like it was like welcome back situation, and I met everyone. That's how I met you, and we just clicked instantly from the get go. And yeah, it's just But I remember the day like it was yesterday. It was really nice. It was a really magical day, and you all were there, and it feels like I've known you for the longest time. Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's actually kind of rare for people who normally party together. Normally it's like, it's loud, it's the club, you can't really talk. But I feel the exact same way. Like, we totally connected. We would like go
Yeah.
find a little corner at Souk or at Gold
And
Bar, and we
just
would
talk
chat,
about everything. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, that's the way to do it. And you're actually one of the few people in Cape Town. You actually met my whole family when they came to visit a couple years ago.
Yes, I met the whole band's family, and we just partied a storm together. It was amazing. It was actually a really beautiful time. It was so amazing just to have moms and pops around, and we just like they're like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm amazing." And it was really it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
So much fun.
Before
So
we
much fun.
even
That's
knew
literally
what was actually coming, what was really coming, we did not know what was coming. Next thing you know, like there's curfews, there's a pandemic, way before
I
the
know.
mess.
I
Yeah.
know. Honestly, when I reflect back to like 2019, when we were really like at Gold Bar all the time, at Souk, at Coke, we were moving and shaking. My family was visiting, and I had no idea what was coming. And I'm like, wow, what a
The way
magical
we
year
were
it's
just
been.
celebrating life and just like really enjoying each other's companies and creating all these amazing memories. It's just like I think the universe was preparing us. They're like, well, I hope you know something is coming, and this is why we just like you just having all this fun right now because bam, oh, I got you next year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the
Gotcha.
gotcha next year.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. All right, so Nele, let's dive in. Welcome to NIKKI BANZ Live. So I know, obviously, I gave you an introduction. International model, activist, all the cool things. But when you meet somebody new, Sanele, somebody who doesn't know you or doesn't know who you are, how do you introduce yourself? How do you describe yourself to other people?
I'm just a black man trying to make a living in the world. But I believe that as humans, we're so multifaceted and we have so many talents. And I think for the longest period of my career, I've always been labeled as a model because I've been modeling since I was 16. So even when I was in varsity studying, it was like a part-time thing, and I was still just like doing everything. And when I decided after work to branch into full-time modeling, it was also just like modeling. And then I think through experiences in the industry, I decided to use my voice more because I realized that there was so much things. So then the activism stuff started happening. And fortunately for me, I actually had an agency that actually understood why I was branching into this. And they kind of helped me branch into this whole new space of trying to, trying to go for diversity in the industry because I was placed in a very niche market when I started modeling. It was very artistic. It was very like avant-garde, and it wasn't as commercial. So a lot of the stuff was like people's homes where Sanele is like and butterflies or snakes, which is amazing. Listen, I love that, I was seen as a blank canvas but stuff, but I feel like that was just where I was boxed in. And I think that also played with a lot of stereotypes already, because already it was just like a mythical creature that, that doesn't really exist. And I decided to, use that platform to say like, hey, black comes in. Because I remember the one time I wanted to go to a casting where they said that they wanted a black man. And I was like, oh, I'm black. So, and they're like, no, not you. So, and then that's also when I realized that, okay, cool. So I think casting directors I've been grouped in a bracket over here, which I found out that I'm actually grouped under sporadic. And I was like, the what? Like, when I have to go to home affairs, I have to tick black. I have to tick black, just like every single one. I'm black. It's just like black comes in different hues, and I'm just like, because of my skin condition, I just happen just to be like the lightest of the lightest of the makeup palettes, And for me, that's how I was brought up, and that's how the whole activism thing came into play, and started talking more about the importance of diversity in the industry, and way before it even became a thing in my like earlier years. And yeah, that's activism. And now obviously I always had a love for acting, and now that's been afforded to me now, so I've started doing that. I've wrapped up a movie, a Netflix movie a year ago. So that was my first stint at it. And now we have like many other things that I can't talk of because of NDAs. But yeah, it's just like, but yeah, it's just like, it's been a really, and because sometimes as a model, people will say like, oh, he thinks because he's a model, he can do this. And I think it was Idris Elba that said something about just like, hey, you can't just be, if you feel like you want to move from one career thing to something else, do that. I think he was then doing DJing. I think people were like, oh, he's an actor trying to be a DJ now. I just feel like if you don't group yourself into one profession. So I would like to consider myself as a creative. Just to answer your question, I think I'm just a creative. I'm that's just like wants to know how, just to, as I journey into this game called life, I want to just dip my hands in each thing so I can get the most out of my of the reason why I'm even here. So when I leave, at least everyone will say, all done. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Sanele, we already are saying, well done to you, my friend. And I think that answer of you just being a creative, no matter what that means, whether it's movies, whether it's acting, whether it's activism, whether it's shifting the narrative and shifting perspectives on diversity in the fashion industry, the definition of Blackness. I'm like, whoa, Sanele, you just touched on so many different things in your first response. I'm like, okay, we gotta
this is also my ADHD, so you better stop me at times because my ADHD is really hard. But
No,
I
I
digress.
love it. I love it. I'm here for it. Well, I'm gonna bring you back to all of those different things. To all the things.
Please do.
I will. I will. Trust me, I will. Okay, so let's maybe start off with what you touched on around you being a Black man and what it means to be Black and shifting the definition of what Black means, right? Because you are somebody who is living with albinism. You identify as a Black South African man, but sometimes the rest of the world doesn't see you like that or doesn't perceive you like that. What was that like? Maybe when you were younger. Obviously now we know you're Hollywood now, Sanele. We know you're hot stuff now. But when you were growing up, I mean, I can imagine that was not easy. So talk to us about like how did you have the confidence? How did you have the self-esteem? You know, during some really dark days when people weren't treating you the way you were meant to be treated.
So, to be honest with you, I really had a very easy upbringing. At home. At home, it was like my mom's a medical technologist, and like my grandmother was a nurse. So these were things that everyone knew in the household. It's like albinism this is albinism. From a very young age, I just knew that like color is not a thing in the household. Like I even like just knowing that black comes in different hues. This was like something that my grandmother always taught me, that don't ever feel like you are less than, or you know, or anything other. So I didn't really I did use my albinism as a way to get out of things like doing outside chores and say, oh, but my mom said I'll burn in the sun or something. But I mean, like nothing to like. There are the characteristics that are obvious, are pretty obvious that comes with albinism. Such as sun sensitivity, photosensitivity. Like I have nystagmus, so I cannot get a LASIK treatment or whatever, so my eyes can be better. So I have a few options of bettering my eyesight, but I think the education was there at home. So it was only when I got outside of the household. So going to malls, walking with my mom, and the stairs, which still happen today. I don't know, you know, that still happens today, and the ignorance test. But now this is just people's lack of not wanting to educate themselves, because the internet is for free. Like you literally can Google albinism and just know everything about it in like in an hour. But the stairs, it was also, but at that time no one really knew, and a lot of parents who had kids with albinism preferred to keep their kids at home. So a lot of the kids with albinism, especially in like in villages, in just in all villages in Africa. I'm limited to Africa because this is like social economic issues and stuff. A lot of the families, a lot of the kids with albinism did not get the opportunity to go to school because of people being scared of how their kids will be treated. But for me, it was more like, you know, I guess like much of a privilege for me. But obviously the stairs, and then I remember the time when I was getting enrolled into boarding school, where my mom took me to school with the principal, and they asked, where's his mom? With my mom in the room. The principal had no idea of what was albinism, and he had no idea on like the color of my skin. And that was the first time I started realizing, okay, what the hell is going on over here? Like, you know, it was those little snide remarks. Also, like people saying, why are you so pale? Why are you so white? And it was always like the whys. And the whys, like, I don't know. What am I? You know, like I was just born this way. Something from a very young age, I was really forced to be able to speak up for myself. And I think I also just told myself that I'll never get bullied. I made it like a point in my life that I will always like stand up for myself. So whenever things like that stuff came to play, I always made sure that like, oh no, not me. No, I'm not the one or the second. So it was always like that, like at high school, for me. But there, I won't lie to you. There were times when, as a teenager, because as a teenager, you're an adolescent and you're very conscious of how you look. So then when I entered my teenage phase, I questioned, like, oh my goodness, will I be dateable? Will someone want to even love me? Then I started research. I remember researching when I was 14 years old if I can get a melanin injection or something like that, where I can look black or like brown or whatever. Because I feel like a lot of people always questioned like, why don't I go tanning? And I was like, actually, why can't I tan? So whenever I go to my mom and I ask her, like, can I get a tanning spray or whatever so I can be a bit darker? So there was no one to sit me down and like, that's not gonna happen, homie. Like when you even try to go to the sun and burn yourself, you're very prone to getting skin cancer. So that was not a negative. So yeah, I think it was that just being I had like an identity crisis when I was a teenager. I think that is like the only thing that was a problem. I really wanted to not have all these questions asked, and I didn't like having to explain to people. And I think it's when I really started, accepting my albinism, like in my later teens, when I started doing the whole modeling thing. It was more like, okay, cool. I stopped because I wanted to be a professional swimmer. But when I saw what modeling could bring to the table, it really just changed the whole dynamic. Because I wanted a BlackBerry curve, and that was the only reason why I did like my first fashion show. I got the money, I got my BlackBerry curve, and then the same designer that booked me was like, he wants to book me for the campaign. And then there was like more money. And I will kid you not, it was merely just for money. But then as I grew older, I realized that I could really use this platform to advocate for people who look just like me, who have albinism, and at that time I was just being called South Africa's first albino model, which my mom hated it. I used to grate my mom's. My mom used to hate it with a passion, and then obviously she said, like, you need to tell people that you're not an albino. You're a black man who has a skin condition. And that kind of stuck to me because that's how I always thought. I just thought like, oh, why am I being labeled at this by the media? And I think if you even look at like earlier articles written about me, that was everything that was said. South Africa's first albino model with albinism. I was like, oh, that makes no sense. I mean, that's a black man. So I think once I started talking about that and like having a lot of conversations about albinism in general, because I think that's what people needed to know. I'm in an industry which everyone really loves, so I decided to use that platform to actually educate people about albinism, how people, don't strip the person out of their blackness because of the hue of their skin. So yeah, it was a really, it was something, and I just saw how that actually changed by just like standing up for myself, and like media people want to know more about that, like not just like the modeling, all the frills, but also like more of the education around albinism, and that also introduced me to like many organizations like UNESCO, to talk with them, and many other, I've done some work with Princeton University. So because of the importance of educating people about albinism, and that's really been like such a fun to get parents, fathers especially, because I didn't grow up with a father, so just having fathers come to say like, hey, listen, I read an article about what you said about your albinism, has educated me so much, because a lot of people don't know like a lot of the about patching, but to avoid having a lazy eye, which a lot of people with albinism get. So patching it at a very young age can help your child not have a lazy eye. So a lot of the stuff that I get to talk about, which I was privileged enough to have all those resources, and a lot of parents who have kids with albinism, from them learning about that and actually being proud to be parents of kids with albinism. I remember one parent was like, we actually prayed to God for his sister to also have albinism. I was like, okay, that's kind of, but also just like a lot of the parents were not ashamed of having kids, because that was actually the thing way back when I was even a kid. Like I didn't know anyone who had albinism growing up. So that was, I think it's when I grew up, became an adult, and I started seeing a lot of like people that, that had albinism, who were also just like, I'm very like proud of who I am because I've seen you just not giving a rat's behind of what people said about you. And that was really just my thing from a very I graduated from that train of pleasing people and like kind of, you know, saying pardoning of how I look and who I am, because you'll end up in a mental institution if you literally focus on what people think about you. No one's ever going to like, you're not going to be liked by everyone. I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea preference. That is, once you accept that, it just makes life a breeze. You find your own tribe. You find you just kind of are gravitated towards people that, you know, really just dig who you are. And yeah, that's just been like the whole journey of like self-acceptance into like with my albinism and how it's just, yeah, helped me.
Yes, yes. Sanele, you brought up so many incredible points here on so many different levels, right? The definition of Blackness being more than just your skin color or not being defined by your skin color. You've touched on, you know, not caring what other people think about you or not caring how other people look at you, which is, I think, something quite unique and rare in the fashion industry and as a model, right? To overcome that and to say, I don't care what people think about me or how I look. I know who I am and I know what I can do, right? That's an incredible reminder to all of us here. And you've also touched on the importance of language, right? It's such a powerful statement for you to come on here and say, I'm not albino, right? And I think like that saying that and the way that people speak, the way that people use language is so powerful. So to just make that shift and say, no, I am someone who has albinism or I'm someone who has a skin condition. I mean, I think that's so important because for a lot of people, you are the role model. You are the first person that they're meeting, that they're seeing, you know, who looks like this and who's not afraid to speak up. And I think what I really like about your activism, Sanele, is that to be totally honest, as a Black man with albinism in the fashion industry, that enough is activism enough. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do anything else if you don't want to. Your mere presence, you holding space in that way is enough. It is totally enough. But you have chosen to go above and beyond and actually teach people and actually shift people's perspectives on albinism and on diversity in the fashion industry, and you know, hearing these stories about parents and kids coming to you saying like, you know, wow, I'm so grateful, I've learned so much. That's it, you know, that separates, you know, the influencers from the impactors. So shout out to you, my guy. You know, we're all on the train.
Thank you. And the fact that I can even do it because I feel like a lot of people expect activists or because I'm not a really big fan of like labels, because I know I don't want to have to like live up to like I'm not a perfect person, and that's why like role model has always been like a very shaky like title. It's like, yo, listen, I make mistakes just like everybody else. But if I can be an example of the stuff that I do, that's the only I remember I was at Coco the one time when I had to really like, someone came up to me like, wow, you're really brave. The way that you look and you're out in the club, just like living life and just like, I'm supposed to be at home soaping about so this like
right.
It's
like what?
In clubs you really meet different people, and I feel like that's I really just didn't want to be like your average. My life has always just been not trying to fit in any status quo. Just really just being myself authentically. I just don't want to give any like this facade to people that I'm like this perfect person that just I feel like, and that kind of really has made a lot of people really understand me and be able to be able to understand where I'm just coming from everything, because it just feels like I'm used to average person that you meet down the street. And yeah.
Yes, I mean, I literally just met you on the street, so you are you are someone that people can get to know, which is what I love, Sanele. And I think it's quite cool. You know, you talked a little bit earlier about your transition from more sort of like unique avant-garde shoots and modeling to doing more commercial stuff. You have traveled all over the world. You have done billboards, you've done magazines, you've done runways, and you work with like a bunch of really cool different brands. What have been some of the most memorable or some of the most meaningful experiences that you've had in the fashion industry?
Well, I always say that it's Adidas. I did a worldwide campaign with for Adidas, which had like it had Snoop Dogg, Kendall Jenner. It was like a really big campaign. That was like my first like commercial campaign where I didn't have to have flowers on my face or cable ties around my neck. It was just like them seeing like this is just a really cool person. I remember they didn't even book me off my portfolio. They just booked me off like the funny stuff that I would say on Instagram. They were like, yeah, we saw this guy on Instagram, we saw him on your thing, and then we went to his Instagram. Like we just we really just like who he is. So it was like the whole just knowing that, okay, wow, actually they get it. they really get it. That was my first big campaign, like global campaign for Adidas, and I've always been like a fan of Adidas. So yeah, that I would say that was my first big one, which was like more commercial. It was very commercial. It was commercial and very artsy at the same time.
That is so cool. I mean, working with Adidas, working with so many superstars, to be able to casually be like, yeah, Snoop Dogg, Kendall Jenner, yes.
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's so
Yeah.
cool. You totally you deserve it, and you touched on how they like your online presence. And honestly, Sanele, you do have a very dynamic and a very captivating online presence. Like, you're not afraid to say whatever you want to say. You post funny memes. You post all sorts of different music. Actually, I want to talk to you about your musical taste, because you have some superb music taste, and you splash it all in your Instagram stories.
I make sure people know that. Listen, a lot of people just ask me, please make me a playlist. I listen to everything, and I listen to everything. And I'll go from gospel to rock, from rock to alternative R&B to like, I recently discovered a new genre. It's called psychedelica, modern psychedelica, and it's been amazing. So I've literally just done that. It was like a musical genre in the 60s, which I guess is very eclectic right now, and everyone is just like on this vibe. So a lot of the artists are like Kubrin, and which is just like my current favorite. And yeah, music is something that I really wish I was like I could play an instrument. Like deep in like in my other lifetime, I guess I probably was Miles Davis or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I love that.
I love music.
We know you love music. Have you been in a music video?
A lot, yes. I have been in a lot of music videos. Not my favorite. I've been Nasty C. I've been in a Nasty C music video. I've been in quite a few techno house music videos, and Dutch artists, and then I've done some stuff in France. In Holland, I've done some music videos. It's not genres that I would like really, my go-to genres, but they've always been like the best music videos, which they were really like, the whole team would always come up with these amazing concepts, and yeah, it was always really amazing. I think I don't drive, but I was driving a Ford Mustang in one, and obviously they had a trailer pull the thing, and I had to pretend as if but I really do wish I was driving. But but it was really nice. It was really nice to be in a Ford Mustang and pretend as if I'm driving. And yeah, I felt like I was having one of those Kill Bill, the Kill Bill moment where she was just driving and on her way to Kill Bill. But yeah, I've done some amazing music videos through my career.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I'm gonna have to go find some of those music videos. You know, I did so much research on you before I interviewed you. You know, with every guest, I
Yeah.
always do hours. I'm like watching your previous interviews. I'm watching all your stuff online. You know, I didn't see a music video of those. I'm gonna go find you in one of those music videos.
Go up onto YouTube. You might find a few.
Okay, okay. I have to. I
Mm.
have to. So we know that you've been in the music videos, but you also casually dropped a little info about Netflix at the beginning here, and that you casually dropped that you're getting more into acting. Talk to us about the journey to acting. How's that going? What's in the
Mm.
pipeline? What can you tell us about? Let me say that.
All right. Well, like it's always been something I've been really liked and I've wanted to branch into, but I just really didn't have the confidence, to be honest with you, to get into that. It's like I was scared. I was really scared and like how I would be perceived in the industry. It was just also very in a young time, so I really just preferred pictures to be taken of me and just get it over and done with, make sure I get my check and I'm out. Like I didn't really want to be having to do everything, like reading lines every single day and having to be scrutinized by the public. So I had like the biggest imposter syndrome ever when it comes to that. I think as I grew older and I became more comfortable, and because I'm actually a natural born introvert. A lot of people may see me and think I'm an extrovert, but I think I'm both. But I would say that when it comes to like craft, I really want to be able to do things to the best of my abilities, make sure that everything that I do is perfect. And I knew that like with acting, I needed to do classes, and I think way before COVID even hit, I was getting a lot of like casting requests. To do like casting tips, I'm like for acting roles, and I was like, whoa, I don't know, I don't have much experience about it, but I think when during the pandemic, there's a director that told me about a whole Netflix movie that she once wanted me to be a part of, and she said she read an article where I wanted to. I felt that one of the I said that I feel like the movie industry could play a very big role of changing the narratives of how people with albinism are perceived in society. And
Mm.
there was a really big a thing that I felt was really important, because there were so many stereotypes and so many narratives that are pushed out there on like how people with albinism live, how their daily lives are. If I think all that was on TV about people with albinism is being hunted and killed, and that's all that I think when someone meets me, which is the truth. I mean, in most villages, and that is the truth, but that's not all that it is about people with albinism. People with albinism can be doctors, lawyers, criminals. They can be everything that you can think of under the sun. And I felt like those were stories that were not being pushed, a lot, which kind of, fueled a lot of the stereotypes that, that's all that is to people with albinism. They can't really do anything besides be on the run. And she read an article that I said about when I talked about that, and she said she wanted me to hop on board. She's like, please do read this line for me. I want you to be a part of this. It's a Netflix thing. Sign the NDA, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. And then I did my first Netflix movie because she loved the whole casting thing. She's like, damn, have you not done any like acting stuff before? I was like, no, I'm just really chill. Like, I'm watching Viola Davis masterclasses, on YouTube just to like, one day, you know. But yeah, I just really just, went into it. I just was, and then I got my first acting gig, and then I think after that, yeah, there's now other things that, that are just popping left, right, and center, which I, so I can't really talk about it, but it's really just it's been so amazing just to see how things just transition as time goes by. And I'm very big about just like the next challenge. I believe it fuels my creativity. It feels like my drive to wake up in the morning. I don't like settling for mediocrity. So it's like something that I'm just like, I don't want to have to go through repetition every single day. I want to challenge myself constantly. So for me, it just looked like an amazing challenge because I felt like every single day I want to, perfect this art, this craft, and like, make sure that I do everything to the best of my ability. So yeah, that's why I felt like this is perfect for me. And I feel like I'm very confident to now hop into this and see what I can do out of it. Yeah. So yeah, my first movie is on is Netflix. It's called Angelina.
Ooh, is it
Yeah.
live already? Can we go watch
Yeah,
it now?
it dropped in December. It came out in December, really early in December. Yeah, like, had my first little 4 minutes, and it was it was so much fun to be a part of the movie, and it's a beautiful South African story. Yeah.
Okay, incredible. Well, everybody go check out Angelina on Netflix. Go see our boy Sanele Xaba in the movie. This is cool, man. We're really excited for you to be pushing your creative boundaries and to be shattering those perspectives and those misunderstandings of people with albinism across all creative industries. You make such an excellent point that, in the fashion industry, it's one thing to be seeing people. I think there's been a lot more models living with albinism, a lot more models with vitiligo. We've been seeing a lot more of that recently, and you're part of pioneering that. You're part of that generation. But now when it comes
And
to
it's so
movies,
amazing just to like have like a lot of them just, I think I meet a lot of like friends of mine, making a lot of friends in the like from around the world who just start up like, yo, listen, so how do you like do X, Y, and Z? I'm like, just ride the wave, yo. Just like really about it. I wanna there's not a rule book to anything, there's not a manual, just like be comfortable in yourself. Don't care not caring about what people say is like the number one thing. Once you graduate from that train of thought, like you're set for life. You can do anything that you can set your mind to, not thinking what people will say, because everyone's going to talk about you. Everyone's going to say that and this and that, but also at the same time, everyone's going to really think that you're really amazing for doing what you're doing and just kind of just living your life. There's nothing really, yeah, because everybody is doing that. So why shouldn't you do that? We all have a purpose. So yeah, it's amazing just to see how the industry is just changing constantly. So much diversity is being celebrated, and yeah, and I think the fashion industry has played a really important part to just like changing society's perspective on certain things without making it like an aesthetic or a trend, but being really genuine about it. I think having really candid conversations like this, even in the media, it plays a really important role. So like platforms like yours, where I get to because not everyone is everyone just really doesn't have the necessary education. So having platforms like this where you can actually talk about something which I would feel like, oh, this is like general knowledge, basic knowledge, everyone should know this. It actually could enlighten someone else, and like you learn it. I also learn every single day. I learn a new word every single day. I just learned about NFTs today, and everyone has been talking about it. So I literally just learned about it today, and just different things. I've learned about people the people from Melanesia. I just learned about them recently, also from Melanesia. Black people who naturally have blonde hair and blue eyes. I had no idea people like this existed. So I learn every single day too. So it's really important to have platforms like this where you can really just talk about stuff and educate each other. So yeah.
I completely agree, Sanele. I couldn't have said it any better myself. We have to keep learning. We have to keep growing. We have to keep shifting our perspectives on people, on cultures, on NFTs and crypto, new forms of currency, the way that we move through and navigate the world. There is so much learning to be had out there, so much learning to be done. And honestly, like you said, YouTube can be our teacher. We can literally sit on YouTube and watch videos for hours and learn so many new things that we never learned before. Or you can tune in to
Honestly.
Nikki Banz Live every Tuesday and learn new things too. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
exactly. There's so many platforms. There's so many platforms, and I think like one of the main things that I even like have that has opened my eyes is the importance of which is what my outreach program is actually doing, is how I take for granted having glasses, prescription glasses. A lot of people, that is a really like a luxury to have, and I've been working with a special needs school in KZN where they don't, a lot of the many kids cannot afford prescription glasses, and the queue at in the gov to get government, because the government does provide special prescription glasses, but the queue is very long, and you know, imagine all over the whole of South Africa applying for prescription glasses. And something that I would break. I remember my mom having to repurchase glasses every third, fourth month because Sanele was just a naughty 3-year-old that would break something and just throw it out the window. Something that I didn't really think about that until I had a whole conversation with someone that I worked with at Equal Education, where they really talked to me about um, how a lot of the who are visually impaired individuals don't have glasses, and that was really, really alarming. And so yeah, I was like, you know what, it's literally through like platforms, so specific platforms, and working with people where you find out so many so much of these things where you thought like that's everyone should have this. Everyone's, you know, you're just very oblivious to like the whole situation. And then that's how we started our program with Eslio to provide 500 kids with prescription glasses and make them ultra thin, because the last thing that you want, I remember when I was in grade 1, I had the thickest glasses. You thought I could see the future. They were so thick. And this is before optics was even a thing. They were round and just big and just like heavy. It was, and you know, to work on this big project has been like another thing that just kind of it makes to know that someone else doesn't have to go through a lot of the problems that I didn't have to go through, having to stand up and look at the board every 5 minutes because you need to, you know, go to the board, memorize, standing in while people are like, oh, sit down, you're blocking me, and having all of that stuff because you don't have glasses. So we're doing a whole magnifying ball for reading, and telescopes to look at the board, and also like prescription glasses. So it's been like a really amazing project to hop on board, all because like, you know, I did not know about the thing, and I really just felt like, damn, if I was in school and I had to go through all of those issues, I probably would have just been like, man, fuck it, I'm really just going to like give up, and I'm really just be the guy that sits at the back of the class and just, you know, blow paper balls to kids and like be a menace. But
Right.
yeah, because it could easily just be like that, because people will say, sit down, you're really tall and you're blocking me from seeing the board, and just all these things. It just becomes a pain to go through that, and there's other things that just are happening back. So yeah, just to be able to hop on board and actually have brands that want to do things like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been
It's so incredibly inspiring, Sanele, to hear about the ways that you are giving back, the ways that you're investing in young people who weren't able to see, who aren't able to see in the same way. Is there like a website? Is there something where people can donate, people can tap in? How do people get involved?
Oh, so it's a project that we just finalized in December. So everything is going to be going live. Well, because I wanted to make it more of like a care pack where we provide study aid textbooks, calculators. So I'm looking at going live with like getting sponsors and making everything like really really legit by like around March. So I definitely
Okay.
will be blowing up my socials and telling everyone like, yo, listen, not the classes and stuff is taken care of. I just want to make sure that these kids have study aids, they have calculators,
Yes.
because the last thing that you want to do is just be walking up this, borrowing calculators during your matric final year and borrowing a scientific calculator, because that's pretty stressful. And
Yeah.
a lot of the kids can't really afford to go to extra classes for maths and science and physics and all of that jazz. And getting like an X kit, a simple X kit, can really help someone, learn, do everything from home. And so, yeah, I do want to just go above and beyond just like glasses, magnifying glasses, and all of that stuff. So I will be like asking people very soon if they can donate X kits, if they can donate like finances to buy the X kits and the stationery and all that jazz. We're still just making sure
Amazing.
that everything is ready for everyone so we can start having everyone on board just to make everything really legit. So yeah, so it's been an amazing what we started I started like everything around October last year. So it's just been a lot of back and forth, me doing proposals and everything. And I'm just glad that everyone saw the vision and really wants to hop on board with me. So I mean, now I can finally talk about it, but and until I can go official with like asking for donations and stuff, I need to be very legit in terms of like my NGO's website and all of that stuff.
Oh my gosh, Sanele, we are so excited for you and we're all going to be involved. We can't wait to see what drops on your socials. Everybody who's watching this live right now, everybody who's watching the rerun on YouTube, when Sanele drops all the info about this NGO and this amazing work he's doing with students in KZN to make sure they have all the scholastic and educational resources they need to be able to see and excel in school, we are all going to be supporting. So we've definitely got your back. And I'm glad that you shared this social impact work that you're doing, Sanele, because my last question of the show, can you believe it's already been a full hour? We got 5 minutes left. Can you imagine?
Oh,
I
whoa!
know.
It was like
It's been a
it's
whole
been only
hour.
10 minutes.
I know.
It
It
was like it's
feels
been
like
only
it's
10
like it's only been
minutes.
10 minutes. I know, I know. But the last question I'll just ask you, Sanele, is, so we're all definitely going to keep an eye out for this social impact work that you're doing. But what else, as your friends, as your fans, as your family, what else can we keep an eye out for? Whether it's movies, shows, more campaigns, partnerships, brands, what should we be keeping an eye out? How can we continue to support you?
I just feel like my main focus right now is primarily on just like I guess just doing all these amazing projects that I have lined up, and I do like I'm really focused right now with education, and I'm speaking a lot on like ADHD and focusing on the stuff. So like my modeling work has taken a bit of a backseat, but it is still like it is still something that I really do. But I'm very focused on a lot of the activism stuff right now and focusing on. I'm really just doing everything. But I would really love for everyone just to be a part of this the stuff that I'm really branching into, with like making sure that I want everyone to be educated more on like how school is like for visually impaired individuals, and I really want to shine a light on that. I feel like no one really understands the importance of that, especially for kids in like in the early childhood space. So I really will be talking a lot about this stuff recent a lot this year, because I feel like it's something that someone who literally lives with ADHD. I feel like I want to shine a light on that stuff, so you can just basically just know the dynamics of who I am. So it's I'll be talking a lot about really important stuff this year. Modern, I mean, there will be still fashion stuff and modern stuff, but I think I really want to talk about important matters a lot this year. So like education, the importance of education and the effects of social economic issues that impact education, and just all about these good stuffs, and how we can all just like come together as a community to make sure that we can eradicate majority of these issues and make, kind of cancel some of these issues that a lot of the kids are facing. And we can just kind of slowly do our part to make the world a better place. So if I'm it's not going to be fun and games all the time. I feel like we just need to come together and really just try to make the world easier for a lot of people.
100%, Sanele. This goes back to you being a creative, no matter what it is, whether it's acting, whether it's modeling, whether it's activism, you are finding creative and unique ways to shatter stereotypes, to redefine standards, no matter what the industry is, whether it's fashion, whether it's school, whether it's entertainment. So Sanele, we are all rooting for you. I'm so excited to know you. So happy that you were able to come on the show tonight. Honestly, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you without, lights flashing.
The lights, sparkles, and bubbles falling all over the place. Yes.
I know.
Yes.
This was
and I'm actually
amazing.
glad that we've actually had the opportunity to have like an in-depth conversation with this, because we have touched base on some of these things that we've been talking about, but in a nice platform where we can actually have other people listen into and everything, and shine a light on all of that. So it's been amazing. It's been so great just to have the platform to talk about this, because I really don't talk about a lot of the activism stuff, but I do. There's people who are just like, oh gosh, if I post about it, they'll say what I'm doing it for clout. So like, it's been really amazing. Because I feel a type of way about that. I really am those people that just like, if you're gonna take a picture of yourself giving someone food or whatever, and just like, do good today, I feel a type of way about that, because but. And that's how, I don't know, it's just like a situation. But I realized that with the whole project, that I actually want to involve people with this and shine a light on how people with who are just visually impaired. I want to be able to have everyone involved in this, and for people to know what is nystagmus, the different options that people don't have when it comes to being visually impaired, being blind. Just to educate people more about this, and you have no idea how much of a difference glasses can make to someone, like light. So much light. So but it's been really being able to talk about this in such platforms, and people to like, oh, we don't know about you doing that. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
You are literally turning the light on for people. So thank you, Sanele. This has been amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for hopping on NIKKI BANZ Live. I love you.
I hope you
enjoy Kenya when I come back to Cape Town.
Yes, enjoy Kenya.
Hey, thank you. This is NIKKI BANZ Live. We'll catch you next Tuesday. Bye, Sanele.
Bye, Nikki.